will bring you the best of international motorsport. Coming first this week, we head to Canada for Champcar Round 6 at Toronto's Exhibition Place Street Circuit. Then it's down to Alabama in the USA for Round 11 of the Rolex Grand Am Series at Barber Motorsports Park. But first, in Toronto and Champcar Round 6.
Reigning Champcar champion Paul Tracy is known for his aggression. A go-for-broke move at Long Beach in the season opener got him to victory circle and kicked off talk of a repeat championship. But in the rounds that followed, Tracy has had his share of misfortune. A disappointing race in Monterrey, Mexico. An early crash at the Milwaukee Mile. And slow traffic in Portland meant the checkers went to other drivers. 1 week ago in Cleveland, Tracy took his first pole of the season, but any hopes for victory were short-lived. Tracy goes way left, contact, parts littering the racetrack. Now, round 6 of the Champcar World Series, back in Toronto. Tracy dominated a flag-to-flag run to victory 1 year ago. Will running on his home soil get Paul Tracy's title hopes back on track? Don't miss the Champcar excitement. The Champcar Grand Prix of Toronto is next.
Well, Toronto's Exhibition Place Street Circuit, under what is still the world's highest building, the 553-metre CN Tower, hosts Champcar for the 20th year, pulling in 72,000 spectators for one of 3 Canadian rounds of the series. The weather is perfect. On pole, championship contenders Sebastian Bourdais for Newman Haas and Paul Tracy for Forsyth. Leading the points is Brazilian Bruno Junqueira, also for Newman Haas, on row 2 with Mexican Mario Dominguez for Herdez. Britain's Justin Wilson starts on row 3 for My Jack Conquest with another local boy, Patrick Carpentier, also for Forsyth. Texan Ryan Hunter-Ray for Herdez and Californian AJ Allmendinger for Rousport share row 4. The third Canadian, Alex Tagliani, qualifies 9th for Rocket Sports, with Spain's Oriol Servia 10th for Dale Coyne Racing. Row 6 sees American Jimmy Vasser for PKV Racing with Mexican Michel Jourdain for Rousport. Mexican Rodolfo Lavin and Brazilian Mario Haberfeld share row 7 for Forsyth and Walker. And the 4th Mexican in this race is Roberto Gonzalez for PKV on row 8 with Argentine Gaston Mazzacane for Dale Coyne. Well, row 9 completes the grid with Brazilian Alex Bonifico for My Jack and Californian Memo Gidley making his 2004 debut with Rocket Sports, replacing Nelson Philippe. Well, ahead 95 laps of the 1.75 mile street circuit as Bourdais brings the field round for the rolling start. Out of the last of the 11 turns, and Bourdais and 2003 winner Tracy are neatly lined up. The green flies and we're racing. Pack funnels into turn 1, but there's already debris flying. Championship leader Junqueira hits hard, and there's another car behind, Maria Dominguez. Row 2 has taken itself out. It was row 1 which crashed out of the last race at Cleveland. Well, the leaders have already been alerted by their teams. The race has gone to a full course yellow, and they slow. The 2 South Americans pass the time of day as they wait for assistance, but neither will continue. And there's another car off. Allmendinger's been hit from behind by Hunter-Ray, under the yellows. Let's take another look at that start. On board with Dominguez. Junqueira edges alongside into turn 1, and then slides into the Herdez car, knocking front wheels off both. Safety teams see the drivers out before craning the Newman Haas and Herdez Lolas off the track. This is what the locals call running out of real estate. In the pits is Hunter-Ray getting a new nose from his Herdez team after running into Allmendinger. here's how that happened. Hunter Ray rams AJ in the safety car train, spinning him and knocking his camera off its mountings. On board with Alex Tagliani as we prepare to go racing again, now lap 7. The green flies. And Bordes is once again in charge of the field, leading Tracy, Wilson, Carpentier, Tagliani, Basso and Serbia. Down the back stretch and into turn 3. As Mazzacani and Sperifico squabble over 11th place. At last the leaders complete a racing lap. On board with Tracy. As Michel Jourdain makes an early stop for damage check after being hit from behind. We're with Tracy as he gets a tow from Bordes. He's alongside. But Sebastian has the inside line and keeps the lead. Memo Gidley is the next visitor to the Toronto Tyre Wall, putting his Rocket Sports Lola off in the turn 8Ss. Here it is. He's bumped by Allmendinger. The Californian, who's making his return to Champcar after 2-year absence, will rejoin without damage, but it does bring out the second caution. At the greens, Tracy continues his long hot chase after Bordes. With rookie driver Justin, Wilson running third ahead of Carpentier, Tagliani, Vassar and Serbia. No change among the top 7 after 25 laps. Bordes is pushing hard, too hard, locking up into turn 3, working to stay ahead until the first round of pit stops. This just isn't Milwaukee winner Hunter Ray's weekend. He runs into the back of Roberto Gonzalez and loses his second nose of the afternoon. Nor is it fellow rookie Allmendinger's. He slides off into the tyres a lap later. AJ's pushed back out and rejoins, avoiding a full course yellow. Tagliani is now pushing Carpentier for 4th. The Forsyth driver struggling with understeer. And sure enough, Pat fails to turn into turn 3. And not only Tag, but Vassar and Serbia are through too. Leader Bordes makes his first stop on lap 36, one later than Tracy. Paul Newman's team has him tired and fueled in 11.8 seconds. Fuel flows slower than in Formula 1, giving crews time to check round the car for damage. Gidley makes his second mistake of the day, this one terminal. Almost involving Bordes, then Wilson and Tracy, who've changed places after the pit stops. Another yellow, and it's 4 laps before the field is released again. And Tracy tries to make the pass for second on Wilson. Wilson holds his inside line. Only Tracy hits him, spinning the Englishman broadside across the road. Well, that causes mayhem behind, and Serbia is involved too. Wilson rejoins, but he has a flat tyre, where Tracy speared him. Aggressor Tracy gets the blame.
Once again, what did you see on the monitor there?
Well, I think that Tracy is Paul Tracy as usual. This is not auto scooter. I think something is to be done because we have a very good race. We're running P2. Justin is the quickest lap in the race, and it's not acceptable that Tracy is ruining the race like this. So guys to behave a little bit better because it's always the same people that they are causing troubles.
Champcar officials agree with team owner Bachelor, and Tracy gets a drive-through penalty. But that doesn't help either Wilson or Serbia. Seen from Tracy's car, he gets a tow from Wilson down the back stretch and makes the pass. As with 4 days earlier, he cannot make it stick on the outside line into turn 3. The Canadian slams into the rear wheel of Wilson's hijack Lola for the second week running and loses 3 places himself. While Sebastian Bourdais continues to lead under yellows, Jimmy Vass is now in second place from Alex Tagliani. We'll be back after the break. Welcome back to Toronto, where the green flies on lap 45 after a 4th full-course caution in the 6th round of the Champcar World Series. Sebastian Bourdais leads Jimmy Vasser and Alex Tagliani, but we've lost championship leader Bruno Giucchero, Mario Dominguez and Memo Gidley, and more than half the field has been in collisions of tyre walls or with each other. But Bourdais has been in control since the start, and he's kept out of the car wars. Tracy's yet to take his penalty for pushing off Justin Wilson and is running 4th. Behind, Hunter Ray slides down the inside of Gaston Mazzacani for 5th, seen from on board Tracy's Forsyth Lola. Tracy's pushing Tagliani for 3rd. But he dives for the pits to take his drive-through. Canadian, winner here last year, rejoins in 13th just as we go yellow for the 5th time. Now there's debris on the track. And here it is. Wilson's nose is broken up, a legacy of his collision with Tracy. The 2001 FI Formula 3000 champion loses more time as the race reaches its halfway point. Tag now has his mirrors full of Hunter Ray, the aggressive Texan already a winner on the Milwaukee Mile. Their Ford Cosworth HB V8 turbos push out 750 brake horsepower. But Tag's watching his mirrors too much. He outbrakes himself into the famous turn 3 and loses 3rd to Hunter Ray and 4th to Michel Jourdain. Allmendinger's 2 laps down but still pushing. That's Oriol Serbia getting out of shape in the Dale Korn car as Tracy lines up to pass Lavin's Corona car. Both Serbia and Lavin have been lapped. 50, and Tagliani takes an early stop, his tyres well past their best. On the left, Tracy takes 8th place from Gonzalez. Ahead of him, Almendinger's well out of shape. But now Tracy's caught his teammate Carpentier, and they're fighting over 6th. What a comeback! Down the back stretch, and this time Tracy makes sure he's on the inside line for turn 3. He makes the pass stick, and there's nothing Pat can do. Behind, Gonzalez and Servia fall over each other. But ahead is the battle for second place. 1996 champion Vassar having his best race of the year, holding off Hunter Ray. Toronto's magnetic walls try to pull in Alex Berifico, but he's able to continue. Lap 60 of 95. In third place, Hunter Ray is the first to make his second stop. His Herdez crew has him back out in 10.6 seconds. Next in is leader Bourdais. The Newman-Haas McDonald's boys have him back out in 10.8 seconds. Vassar briefly leads and then makes his second and final stop. He stops the clock at 10.7 seconds, all three posting similar times at rest. Paul Tracy rejoins from his stop, but he puts Michel Jourdain into the wall. The bad boy of Champcar strikes again. Here it is from onboard Tracy as he leaves the pits. On cold tyres he slides straight into the side of the Roosborg car, escaping damage himself. And the furious Mexican abandons his car and will no doubt be swapping notes with Justin Wilson after the race. A 7th yellow fails to spoil Bourdais' rhythm. The Frenchman still ahead of Vassar, Hunter Ray, Carpentier and Tracy as the race goes back to green. But with so many cautions, the race is going to end short when the clock gets to 1 hour 45 minutes in just over 5 minutes time. Vassar's coming under huge pressure from Hunter Ray. The 23-year-old from Dallas, a regular winner in the 2002 Toyota Atlantic Series. Last year he debuted in Champcar with Stephanie Hanson's American Spirit team. Joining Herdez this year, he dominated the Milwaukee Mile Oval round from pole to checkered. Further back, Tagliani and Gonzalez collide, but they continue. Tracy once again peels off into the pits to take his second drive-through of the day, this one for taking out Jourdain. Homecoming has not been the happy one he wanted, and he already has a season-long probation hanging over him for bad behaviour after the Portland 4th round. More trouble with just 4 minutes remaining. Rodolfo Lavin rolls to a halt with a dead engine. That brings out the 7th yellow of the afternoon. Mexican compatriot Roberto Gonzalez in the pit with front corner hanging off, obviously upset about something. Well, here's the something. Tagliani fails to give him enough room as he laps him, puts the Nextel car into the wall, breaking his own front wing. Just 2 minutes remaining and the pace car's still on the track, with Vassar and the field sitting on Bourdais' tail. 8 of the survivors are still on the lead lap. The Dodge Viper pulls off, and we're racing again with no more than 2 laps left. Bourdais floors the throttle and opens a gap immediately over Vassar, Hunter Ray, Carpentier, Habefeld, Tagliani and Tracy, who's back to 7th place after his second drive-through. Habefeld passes back Marcus Purifico as Allmendinger fishtails into the wall. Well, there's everything to lose in these 2 laps. And Hunter Ray is the loser. Braking late into turn 3 to drop from 3rd to 8th. As the Wolf Pack follows him. Bourdais gets the white flag as he starts the final lap, well ahead of Vassar and trouble behind. Carpentier and Habefeld are now disputing 3rd place, with Tagliani 5th and Tracy 6th. Patrick's wild as he fights off the Brazilian, who was the 1998 British Formula 3 champion. Ahead, Bourdais is heading for Champcar win number 7, equaling Dan Gurney and Gilles de Ferran, and this is his 3rd successive victory after Portland and Cleveland. The flags are waiting. And Sébastien Bourdais wins from Jimmy Vassar and Patrick Carpentier to put himself 28 points ahead of teammate Bruno Junqueira in the title chase. Let's hear from the Frenchman.
Yeah, well, I think as I said yesterday, a lot of the job was done for the pole. I had a clean start, ball was all over me, but I was inside, so I was going to keep it, and it's been a yellow, so it's just great, I'm very happy. A bit disappointed for the New Manas team and Bruno, but it's very good for us.
A confirmation of the result, Habefeld taking his best ever Champcar result at the wheel of the Walker Reynard, and rookie Gaston Mazzacane a surprise top 6 finisher for Dale Coyne.
Congratulating his driver. The interviews continue down there along pit road. Of course, following our victory podium presentations, we do have our final race of this night.
Well, racing doesn't get much better than this, overtaking all afternoon and dozens of incidents. Bourdais and Vassar were the only 2 drivers not to be involved in something, and a dash for the cash in the final 2 laps. Let's have a look at the points. 6 races in. Bourdais is now on 164 to the 136 of Junqueira and the 129 of Carpentier. Defending champion Tracy's falling back. Can he do better in 2 weeks' time in Vancouver? Another home race for him? Find out here on Race World.
Back as now, Race World heads deep down south to Alabama for round 11 of the Rolex Grand Am Series.
Alabama's Barber Motorsports Park is the setting for the penultimate round of the Grand Am Rolex Sports Car Series. This is round 11 of a hard-fought year with any of the top 10 still in with a chance of the title, after an outstanding season which has seen 5 different winners in the 10 rounds to date. Ganassi Scott Pruitt and Max Papis are the most winning combo with 3 victories, but the pack is still right with them. After 7 wins, BMW's Bill Auberlen leads teammates Boris Seid and Justin Hans in the GT category. With 35 points for a win and 2 races left, they can still be caught by the Races Group Porsche boys, Ian James, RJ Valentine, Chris Gleason and Kevin Buckler. Barber is America's newest facility, hosting Grand Am for just the 2nd time, a busy 2.3 miles of 15 turns and 80 feet of elevation changes. With that, you've got blind corners between 2 and 3, between 7 and 8, another blind one, and over here, 11 and 12. But the fans are hoping the rain will hold off and that they'll see the same sort of action as the last round in Virginia. That featured the closest finish in Daytona prototype history, just 0.8 of a second after nearly 3 hours of racing, as Max Angelelli and Wayne Taylor beat Pruitt and Prappis to the flag. The battle continued afterwards as Pruitt fought with Wallace. Well, the 38 car grid is already moving off as we join our onboard camera cars. Points leader Max Papis on pole for Ganassi. Vic Rice in the South Arb BMW. Wayne Taylor in the SunTrust Pontiac. And the other front row starter, Daytona 24 Hours winner Terry Borchella for Kodiak Pontiac. David Donahue for Brumos Porsche. The Prototype Technology Group BMW M3 of Bill Orbelon on GT pole. And the Racers Group Porsche of RJ Valentine. Well, rain is forecast and it's already spotting, but most of the field is on slick tyres as they come round to start what should be a 2 hours 45-minute race. The green flag flies at Barber Motorsports Park and the penultimate race is underway. Papis and Borchella side by side into the downhill turn 1. Papis' Ganassi teammate Jimmy Morales slots into third. Papis leads into turn 5 from Borchella, from Morales looking for the inside, and then Andrew Davis making his series debut in the Spirit of Georgia Tech Pontiac. On board with Donahue, running 7th. This is an amazing facility, built as a race school track, but now hosting national events for the past 2 seasons. There in 13th overall is Orbelon in the GT leading BMW. This is the view from his bumper cam. The drivers can see little more than this over these blind brows as he locks onto Venezuelan Mil Carduno, twice a winner this year with Andy Wallace. Up front, Morales has just snatched second from Borchella, but Terry wants it back. He slipstreams the Ganassi Lexus over the start-finish and takes it back on the inside. Christian Fittipaldi will take over the car later. Mexican Morales must have caught Terry asleep because the Kodak car is pulling away again. And look at the rain coming down. On board with Wayne Taylor, following Doug Goad's 5th place Spirit of Daytona Pontiac. Those strips are heating elements to stop the windscreen misting. It may need them. The 39 car of Davis is slipping back. He's dropped from 3rd to 10th and is about to be passed by Didier Tace and the Watkins Glen winning Lister Doran. Barber raced its school instructors on rain tyres, a wrong call it seems, with the track still relatively dry. There's always a huge battle in the SGS class for production GT cars. There's an 8-car Jaguar wobbling over the lead, with Chip Vance being monstered by the TPC Porsches of Mark Bunting and Michael Levitas. Vance suddenly finds himself 4th. The Daytona prototype fight for 4th is just as frantic. Goad, Heading Taylor, Elliott, Forbes Robinson, Donahue and Oscar Negri and Court Wagner. The last two crashed out heavily in Virginia, but the cars have been rebuilt. Lap 23 and the rain looks here to stay, although it's not yet wet enough to change from slick tyres. We follow another battle, this one for third place in GT, with a newcomer to the series, the 2005 spec Pontiac GTO Floridian Charles Espenlaub, well ahead of the race's group Porsches. The car has big potential for next year when several more are expected to race in Grand Am. Even now, 40 minutes in, it's still holding off Boris Side's BMW M3. Side's BMW's had years of development by Tom Milner's Prototype Technology Group, and its superior handling and braking eventually tells. Boris makes the pass down through turn 1. Wallace laps them both in the Citgo Howard Boss Pontiac, with which he and Milka Duno won both Homestead races this year. He took the car over from the Venezuelan lady just one lap ago. Then the second full course yellows fly. Its 4's gone off behind those barriers. There it is, the Acme Porsche of Paul Mortimer. What happened? He slides off in turn 4, misses the gravel, and on the wet grass slams into the barriers and out of the race. Well, that prompts the rest of the leading teams to make their first pit stops. Taylor's in with the third place SunTrust car. And as well as refueling, the team goes for a suspension adjustment. Taylor reported the car too soft in its rain setup, and they're stiffening the rear roll bar. Leader Max Papis stays in his car as he takes on fuel. No tire change, it's not yet wet enough. Further down pit road, Borchella beats Max Papis out. A great stop by the Kodak Pontiac people. Back at SunTrust, they're still working on the car. They're under caution, but Taylor will go a lap down if they don't get him back out ahead of the pace car. Tays hands over the Lister Doran to Andrea Montemini. This is the car that won one of the best races of the year at Watkins Glen, with Tays and Magnussen aboard. Taylor now rejoins, still on the lead lap, but his championship chances could be hurt. Hopefully though, his handling's been improved. He's been complaining bitterly of oversteer. Car builder Bill Riley still doesn't look particularly happy though. We'll be back after the break. return to Barber Motorsports Park, where the 12th round of the Grand Am Rolex Series has passed the halfway mark. The drizzles continue, but it's still not wet enough for slicks. As race leader Elliot Forbes-Robinson exits the S's with a loose rear flat, there's the fight for second between Doug Goad, Andy Wallace, Terry Borchella, Max Papis and Luis Diaz. EFR and Goad beat Borchella and Papis out of the pits after refueling. Wallace took over his car earlier, but the other four all need to change drivers yet. This is the view from the back of championship leader Papis' car, as teammate Diaz tries to pass every which way. Second place Goad tangles with Vic Rice as he laps him. Both cars spin as Wallace and Borchella thread through the eye of the needle, but Diaz is brought to a halt. Papis is alongside Borchella for fourth place, but the Kodak car holds him off. Diaz rejoins, but Goad is still trying to restart the Spirit of Georgia Tech Pontiac. Borchella's having his best race since the Daytona 24 Hours, holding off the Ganassi star. Let's look at that incident again. Rice shuts the door on Goad. Goad is still stuck in the middle of the racetrack, so out comes full course caution number 4, sending everyone except Wallace diving for the pits. In come EFR, Borchella and Papis. We go on board with Papis. He'll be handing over to Scott Pruitt. EFR pulls over to the left, but changes his mind and collides with Borchella. Forbes-Robinson out, Butch Leitzinger in, and he's staying on slick tyres, as is Pruitt in the 0-1 car. Donahue out, Darren Law in to the Brumos Porsche. Still a championship contender, Taylor hands over the SunTrust car to Max Angoleli. That's staying on slicks too. We're ready to race again. Points leader Pruitt back at the front after the pit stops. But look at Leitzinger flying up the inside and into the lead, down through turn 1. We go on board with Christian Fittipaldi running third after taking over the Kodak Pontiac from Borchella. He wants by Pruitt too. Great move by Leitzinger, 10th in the championship and yet to win a 2004 race, although he and Elliot Forbes-Robinson were on the podium at Homestead. The spinners caught Wagner and the RX-Com Doran rebuilt after its Virginia smash. It's raining harder now, and we get a 5th full course yellow. Will this race ever get going again? All this is playing into Leitzinger's hands. Chris Neville talks to Forbes Robinson in the pits.
Well, Butch Leitzinger doing a great job, but the man that handed him that car up front, Elliot Forbes Robinson, a tremendous job under what I don't even think difficult conditions describes it.
Well, it's tough out there because, you know, you get to a corner and last time it was dry, next time you lock up the wheels because it won't stop and you never know what you're going to get. You see the water on the windshield sometimes, but the guys gave me such a good car today that I had to, you know, do my best, and it was up front, fortunately.
Well, we saw the problem with the gurney lip also, coming off the back end of the car. Did that affect the handling?
No, it didn't seem to at all. I was just worried the guys behind me are going to think I was signaling to go in the pits.
He said he actually saw it from his mirrors earlier, guys, but they were able to repair that on the stop, and Butch should have a good car to the finish.
Andy Wallace is in for his final stop as the rain continues. He stays on slicks. We're racing again. Butch Leitzinger still leading now from Angelelli, Fittipaldi and Pruitt. Andrea Montemini just took Scott Pruitt for fourth but spun, despite the Lister Durham being the only car on rain tyres. Well, this puts Pruitt's back into fourth and drops the Glen-winning number 27 car back to sixth, behind Jimmy Morales. And if they finish like this, Pruitt and Papis will still lead Angelelli and Taylor by just 1 point as they go to the final round at Fontana. And here's leader Leitzinger from Angelelli, then Christian Fittipaldi and Pruitt with just a handful of laps remaining. We haven't seen much of the GT field, but Justin Marks and Bill Oberlin are still out front from BMW teammates Joey Hand and Boris Side, while TPC Porsche teammates Andy Lally and Randy Pobst are 1-2 in the SGS category. Angelelli has a look at the lead, but Leitzinger keeps the door shut down into turn one. Fittipaldi's also in the chance of the win. But the Brazilian loses the back end and slams into the barriers at high speed. That car is wrecked. Surely the race is going to go to full course yellow again. This could give Leitzinger the win, as the race could finish under yellows. And yes, there it goes to yellow for the fifth time here in Alabama. Well, Christian's walking away from a big impact, wondering just what happened. Well, let's see what did. Uses the back end and the left-hander. Once it's on the wet grass, he's just a passenger. He hits the steel barriers just short of the tyres. Again from on board the Kodak Pontiac. That was a hard hit. Race ends under yellows, giving Elliot Forbes Robinson and Butch Leitzinger their first win for Howard Boss Pontiac, leading SunTrust, Pontiac's Max Angelelli and Wayne Taylor over the line, with Ganassi's Scott Pruitt and Max Papis third. We talk to Papis.
Here in the Comp USA Chip Ganassi Racing, we're prepared to fight. You know, we were expecting to go down to Fontana to go to the last race, and you know, we're prepared. Lexus is getting ready. All the guys at Chip Ganassi Racing, you know, they're gonna go out there to win the race and win the championship.
Justin Marks takes the GT honours for the fourth time this season for BMW. For co-driver Bill Oberlin, it's win number 8. One or other of the PTG BMW aces is going to take the title, with Boris Side, just 7 points behind. Well, as the field head back to Parc Fermé, here are the Daytona prototype points coming up. Papis and Pruitt now just 3 ahead of Taylor and 18 ahead of Wallace, who finished 6th today. It doesn't get any closer than that as the Grand Am Rolex Series heads for its California finale.